Hello, my name's Alan, and today I am facilitating the second of 5 sessions of Fate of Cthulhu. Specifically, the characters are trying to overcome the rise of Nyarlathotep. This game is organized as part of the Gauntlet events calendar. If you don't know about the Gauntlet RPG community, then please do look us up in Google, where you'll find lots of great people playing lots of great games. If you want to know more about the Gauntlet, then I'd refer you back to the first of this series or almost any other video in my YouTube channel. But we are on the clock, so I'm going to move swiftly on. Before I do, my pronouns are he, him. If I could ask, let me go in character keeper order. Lowell, say hello and tell us about Nessa al-Ghumari.
So my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and I'm running Nessa al-Ghumari, who is a essentially half Irish, half Moroccan character. Her background is as a sort of engineer of tricks, practical effects, magic tricks, theater operations, all of that kind of thing, and has gotten drawn into this after sort of getting mixed up with trying to figure out how somebody did a trick, and that led down sort of the avenue to actually there being weird magical stuff. And I'm still convinced that there has to be some explanations for things. And I'm also a little freaking out after having bombed a place last time.
Innocent scientists in the Antarctic.
Innocent
Yeah.
scientists in the Antarctic. Well, let's how about that?
Okay. Moving along. Will, say hello and tell us about Agent Rook.
Hi, I'm Will, pronouns he, him, as are those of my character, Agent Rook, who is a member of Delta Green, a clandestine, highly illegal, deep state government conspiracy. And Rook is in his prime as a Delta Green agent, just on the cusp of losing all of his idealism and descending into the sort of madness and things that happens to all good agents. And was warned he had to go and help this Avery Quinn by his own future self, who then died in front of him. And yes, he's here to save the world and do whatever it takes, basically, as always.
Indeed, until he is crushed by the old ones. Okay, Bodhi, say hello and tell us about Professor Avery Quinn.
So I'm Bodhi. I'm playing Professor Avery Quinn, pronouns they, them for both me and my character. And Avery Quinn is a professor of occult sciences and is the only member that was sent back in time to stop the rise of Nyarlathotep, that actually made it back to the correct time and appeared on McFee's fishing boat, found support from the characters and proceeded to launch into stopping the apocalypse. Somewhat reluctantly, because I think Avery Quinn's natural inclination is to study the apocalypse. So because they're insatiably curious, and I get my own and Avery's pronouns wrong all the time, so don't worry about it.
Yes, I think we're so intent on what was carved on those great stone doors in the Antarctic that almost missed out on the explosion. Callum, say hello and tell us about Illtyd Aderyn McFee.
This is working. Yes, hello, I am Callum, he, him pronouns. I will be playing Illtyd Aderyn McFee, he, him pronouns. Illtyd is just a common man, a crab fisherman, picture a mix between J.K. Simmons and Nick Offerman, who was at sea when he lost his son in circumstances which are yet to be defined. He was still looking for his son maybe several days or weeks later when Professor Avery Quinn, they appeared on his fishing boat, and since then he's been embroiled in everything that is going on. He barely understands what is going on, and it's not at all a reflection of my relationship to the rule system that we're using.
Then just to catch us up, remember everyone's refresh has increased from 3 to 4. And therefore you have at least 4 fate points, because end of event milestones are quite generous in this version of Fate Core. And you are welcome to spend a refresh on a new stunt. I'll let you do that in play. I noticed Illtyd is still short his original starting stunt, so there's a second stunt for you when you want it. But I'm not going to bog us down with that, with stunt creation right now. If you tell me what you think you might want it to do when you wanted to do it, then we'll come up with some phrasing for it. This session, this event, Avery Quinn has provided a time traveler briefing. It's in the tab. There's a detailed one and my kind of shorthand. My shorthand is that an apparent Cairo laborer called Nur al-Hassan disappeared in 2020, reappeared in 2028 with 150,000 signatures, allowing him to stand for the Egyptian presidential election in 2028. The day afterwards, he dissolved parliament, announced he was the Dark Pharaoh, and the apocalypse began. You'll find more details there, but the questions the time traveler has been sent back to answer really are: was Hassan replaced, corrupted, or possessed? Was it an accident or by design? Is there anything that can be done about it before it happens? Was his disappearance linked to the discovery on the day he disappeared of an elaborate sealed sarcophagus in a tomb under an ordinary family home in an area of Cairo? Is that location perhaps part of the Egyptian city of Memphis? And just for interest, that sarcophagus remained sealed, as far as anybody knows, in 2028 when Nyarlathotep's apocalypse began. The mission, as defined to Avery before they came back from the future, is to track down Hassan before he goes missing from the dig site in 2020 and prevent whatever turns him into Nyarlathotep by any means possible. If that means murdering him, then so be it. So we're in Cairo. Let me start with Avery Quinn. As our episode opens, Avery, what do we see you doing in Cairo?
I think we see Avery putting together the our cover stories for going to for getting out to this dig as archaeologists, laborers, security, kind of whatever anyone wants to be. I'm kind of putting together particularly the scientific side of it, the kind of getting us on the academic team, basically.
Okay, so that sounds like deceive to me.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have something else you want to throw at me.
Well, I get a +2 to deceive to overcome for science-related matters because of my scientific background, so I'd like to use that stunt. And I think in terms of what we actually see, I think I'm in the Cairo Museum of Antiquities or equivalent, and talking to the deputy director of this dig, who's the one staying behind at the museum, and kind of handing off kind of false paperwork to them. Okay.
So I think this is not going to be easy. I think the difficulty for this is probably 3, because you've just come out of the blue. Yeah, so difficulty is 3.
Okay. That is... The dice didn't change, but assuming they rolled the same as before rather than didn't roll, that's a 6 on the light and a 3 on the dark, so that's a 3 plus a... Ooh, what's my deceive already? 3 plus a 3, and that's a 6.
Which gives you success with style. So you succeed in your goals, say what you do next, and get a boost doing it. So that will certainly provide scientific details for yourself. And who else?
I think Nessa.
So you and Nessa are sorted in terms of getting on this dig site in some kind of academic facility capacity. Rook, what do we see you doing in Cairo?
I think walking into a rather nondescript, like old hotel / office building, like with offices and things like that, you know, and very much like, you know, shady room with blinds and things like that. And I sit down in front of a Egyptian intelligence officer, and I slide across a dossier of suspected terrorists, and I'm going to try and investigate the cult of the Starry Wisdom. And I'm not sure mechanically how best this would work in terms of either like maybe creating an advantage for us to use to like invoke to say, well, we know we've identified.
Exactly. It's entirely up to you whether you want to if you want to ask me a question now,
yeah,
later on claim stuff that this tells you to improve some other role, the latter would be create advantage.
I think I'll go for create an advantage, so I don't think I know enough to ask a good question. You know what I mean? Because it could be where's Hassan, right? Or it could be who's the cult's leader here or whatever. Fine. So I'll go with the advantage.
Okay, so I think the difficulty again is going to be 3, because of course in 2020 this is all a bit foreign to the Egyptian intelligence service. In 2028 they did a big dig on Nur al-Hassan, but this is all a bit out of the blue.
Well, I would like to invoke the timeline aspect. The Church of the Starry Wisdom is powerful and growing because they've you know, they've expanded. They're making, you know, with size comes attention.
Okay, so the way that works is you spend a fate point to invoke that, and mark the first resistance success in your particular track, and we'll keep track of this as the game proceeds. So I mean, and you're going to do that come what may. So roll the dice. I think the difficulty is probably 4, to be honest.
Okay.
Because his immediate reaction is the Church of what?
Oh well, I mean, I definitely, it's like ISIS, but I know what you mean. He hasn't heard of the church. I'm establishing those links. Like yeah. Would this be investigate or context?
Take your pick.
You know, I'll just because it lets me use my new stunt. I'll roll investigate. So okay, because it's the same result either way. 3. I get +2 to investigate human agents of the mythos.
You do.
So I roll both of them. I'm at 3. Sorry, it's all gone weird for me.
It all went a bit weird for me. I'm
just going to reload the whole room. Sorry. Oh no, everything's moved now. Everything's gone off the screen for me. I had it for a second and now the green one's gone entirely. There we go.
Can I suggest that we might I hate to do this to John, but I think we might want to go back to roll for your party.
Yeah. Shall I just roll quickly these 2?
Yeah, roll those 2. Yeah. I'll set up a roll for your party.
So that is a 5 on the light dice and a 2 on the purple dice with a 3 for the thing.
So the dice were +2. There's 3 to add to that, so that's +5 against a difficulty of, did I say 3 or 4?
You said 4.
So that's success. So you have created an advantage. related to the Church of Starry Wisdom, what you found out. Make a note of it, because I won't.
Okay. Advantage. Cult intel. Does that two invokes on that? Or
no, you didn't succeed with styles. You just get the one.
okay. Is there a way to push it up to her? Would be invoking another aspect, wouldn't it? To give me another +2. I'm going to do that because it's a point now for everyone to have a point later, I think.
Okay. So
I will
invoking?
invoke CIA operative.
Fine. Very impressed with the CIA always. I've just put the Roll for Your Party link in the chat. Okay, so you have that one in play. What do we see of McFee in Cairo?
Please remind me. No. Okay. So we see a sort of sunset of a construction site, and there an old man, which you recognize as McFee, wearing a singlet. What do you call that?
Vest.
Tank top. A little white vest. It's all sweaty already. He's carrying bricks in on the construction site. Arrived next to a local and gives his hand and say, "Hi, I'm well." Oh, okay.
The great old ones are at work.
I'm on a laptop.
Very spooky.
So that's surprising. The internet didn't jump. Yeah, sorry about that. Illtyd gonna offer his hand to this worker and say, "I am new on the site. What's your name?" And hopefully he will reply that his name is No, because I'd like to invoke.
You've gone muted.
Muted.
You're muted, Callum.
There you go. I wanted to invoke the aspect No, Alassane, a man of no particular evident importance. McFee Illtyd just showed up as a construction worker where he works.
How did he know which site to go to?
I guess he would have benefited from information from Rook.
We do know which dig site he's at, because that's the last time he's.
Well, that was I was checking. Is this the archaeological dig site or a building site? I was a bit confused.
Sorry, I misread dig site. Yeah, I meant dig site, not construction
site.
Fine.
Okay, so I think this probably comes down to rapport. Oh, Nessa.
A point of clarification. One of the things you said, and just to clarify from my own mind, is that the dig site is taking place in a residential Cairo neighborhood.
Yeah.
That was covered. So we probably do have other building places around. Cairo isn't that large as far as metropolitan cities go, but it is super, super dense.
Yes, I think that's very true. So in terms of describing this site then, Kaloum, what makes it difficult to avoid observation on this site?
I think it's a construction site which is right alongside a very busy street. So there are some hoardings, but they're not very, they're not up to health and safety standard that you would see in other cities around the world. So people can see through quite easily. So people they even passerby and locals. Sometimes they are on their balcony enjoying some hot tea, old minty, looking over the site. So it's really like this gaping hole, like a foundation. It's a dig site, so it's like they're digging the foundations. It's just adjacent between two residential buildings. It's right in the middle of a residential neighborhood, and yeah, people having a break, just walking by this busy street, have a look about everything that is going on in there.
Fine. I think it sounds like rapport is what you're trying to do. You're trying to get to know him. I don't see why we shouldn't have been able to. No, you'll struggle to get pictures, won't you? Because Avery can't have brought any pictures back. And of course, he is currently a nobody. So let's have you roll with rapport. I think a complete stranger with whatever accent McFee has approaching him just on this dig site is probably a difficulty of 4.
Yeah, I'm going to use my stunt because of my fisherman heritage. I can use physique instead of rapport, but only with common workers.
Yeah, go for that.
So my physique is 4.
Does any of the would you want to invoke any of the timeline aspects, perhaps?
Yes, I did.
Well, remember that you get to roll the dice. You don't have to spend a fate point to invoke until after you've seen what the dice do.
Okay, but I said I would be using, isn't that an aspect what I said I was using the Nyarlathotep, a man of no particular evident importance?
And that, yeah, you don't have to do it until after you've rolled the dice. So you've got 0 on the dice. 4 gives you a tie. And now presumably you will spend a fate point and invoke that timeline aspect. Oh no, sorry. There isn't a timeline aspect, or nor is there. There's a
Nyarlathotep is confident.
Yeah. The timeline aspects are the ones at the top of the sheet.
Okay. Let me just get a d6 for myself. All right. So the timeline aspect, the Church of Starry Wisdom is powerful and growing. The face is mother weights and greedy narrative plan. I think Nyarlathotep is confident. There's no one looking after Noor. Nyarlathotep probably expects that just because Noor is a common man who doesn't attract attention, is in the clear, so he didn't need to have people around him, shielding him from anyone.
Okay. So spend a fate point. That turns your tie into a success. So you get to mark a resistance success. Congratulations.
Did I roll? I didn't.
Oh, sorry. I thought I saw a pair of 2s.
What's that for? Would just appear. Oh, okay.
It's just me putting dice. Sorry, you can roll.
Oh yeah, I rolled now.
Okay, so I'm still seeing a pair of 2s.
That's a pair of 2s, which I just rolled.
So against a success of 4, your 4 physique gives you a tie. You invoke to get an extra 2, turns it into success. So Noah, it turns out, speaks a bit of English. Common man as he is. In fact, he speaks surprisingly good English for a Cairo laborer.
Well, your English is good for local.
Yes, I was very lucky. I was sent to school as a very young boy and learned English before my parents were killed.
Oh wow! Well, I would expect you to have a fancier job than working at this dig site with that resume.
Yeah, no, it sadly, I was only 8 or 10, and there was no money, so this is where I've ended up.
Yeah, it's tough. Schools need money and this sort of stuff. I'm sorry about your parents. I lost my son not too long ago, so I know something about loss. We should hang out sometime. Huh?
Yeah, but the shifts are long here, and they're excavating down down in the garden, and then this small courtyard, and then underneath the house, and we'll leave it at that. Let me go to Nessa. Nessa, what do we first see of you in Cairo?
So I think that I've got 2 things that we need to establish. One is practical and one is informational. And I think information I'll probably get on the site itself. But one of the things I want to do is get into the area, the residential area, and it shouldn't be that hard, especially with the noise and things like that, to rent effectively a safe house for us. a fallback position within a couple blocks that, you know, is a rental. We pay some money to the Bawab and they'll look the other way and we get some rooms and we're good there and get that set up.
That sounds like resources to me, unless you've got a better offer for me.
No, I think that's perfectly fit with resources.
Given that you're not after anything terribly salubrious, I'm going to make the difficulty a simple 2.
Okay. So reroll selected. So that gives me a -1 + 2 is a 1. So let's go ahead and let's see. Timeline aspects aren't particularly appropriate here. I'll invoke Child of Many Cultures.
Yes, and clearly, Nessa al-Ghumari, do you speak Arabic?
Absolutely, though with Moroccan accent, a little bit different than the Cairene.
But certainly enough to convince the landlord to give you a good deal.
Oh yeah.
And so that becomes success. You have a safe house. I think the best way to represent that is as almost a situational aspect called safe house.
Okay.
Yeah, with 1 free vote, got it.
And the other part of that is getting some, you know, basic things that can be easily made into restraints. And while Noor may be the person we're going to be restraining, I took an aspect that I'm a little bit worried about Quinn's fascinations because they mirror my own obsessions. That's my relationship aspect. And I saw how he looked at that door last time. And we're going to be finding a mysterious sarcophagus. So I want us to be ready for anything.
Step away from the sarcophagus. Yeah. A little bit too interested for their own good.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a safe house in play. We have someone on site. We have a set of credentials for Quinn and Ghumari, and Rook has established links with local intelligence service. So when do we next see you all together? Rook, what's the, you know, is this in the safe house?
I think in the safe house is a good place for it, you know. Bags, kind of like bedrolls and weapons and stuff, like, yeah.
What worries you about the safe house, Rook?
What worries me about the safe house is that it doesn't have any good fields of fire around it. It'll be getting out, you know, if we came under attack here, it would be a corridor fight to get out.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the plan? What do we see what kind of discussion do we see going on here, Quinn?
If I can get my mouse on the right monitor to unmute myself, that might work better. So I think I'm asking questions of McFee. I think I'm kind of so you've met the guy. How did he seem?
Kind of nondescript, really. Sounds a bit smarter than he looks, but I mean, you could lose him in a crowd quite easily, really. Your typical Cairo fellow, not dressed fancy or anything. I mean, he's just a construction worker. As I'm saying that, I've been working all day and I didn't go back home to take a shower, so I'm kind of all sweaty with dust and grease on my skin. My arms are bare and my hairy chest is exposed also. So stuff I've been dripping off my my front head. I don't know if it's an opportunity to evoke a trouble. Would that be appropriate?
You can always self-compel a trouble. What have you got in mind?
As I describe, this sort of the movie shows a flashback of me interacting with Noor and on the construction site, on the dig site. And I want to invoke, I have no idea how much, I don't know, because as I was working with him and we were handling stuff in the dig site, at some point I helped him lift some stones, and I even handed him a few stones which had peculiar markings on them. And I handed those to Noor without even caring or noticing what they were.
I'd like to go a little bit further than that, I think,
Sure.
to give you a fake point. Because you don't know what you don't know, really. What McFee can tell Quinn about the dig site is trivially poor. So
I was trying to roleplay that. So.
While he can tell you what a nice chap Noor is, in terms of the layout of the dig underneath the building, all that, nothing. Give yourself a fake point, Illtyd.
We don't have many breaks. The food is not very good. I mean, we had couscous 3 times. The canteen is over this way. You can find some tea. The mint tea is good. So this kind of information.
And you can see Avery kind of going through a checklist that they've that I've kind of hastily kind of written up in the safe house of kind of useful stuff when investigating a cultist site, and kind of just like not ticking off any of the boxes and getting so I'm more and more frustrated.
Maybe when he says like, look, tea break is or whatever, you finally took one half tick.
Yes.
So that doesn't seem to have been terribly productive. What do we see Nessa doing in this discussion of strategy?
There are 2 things. One is, so it takes a year and a half to get permits to do archaeological digs in Egypt and Cairo. So it's a ways out. So we need to trace back and figure out how this got chosen. This is an unusual site to be chosen. If there's any links, if we can see who pushed at it, we need to get that sort of thing in place so we know if it is Starry Wisdom or somebody else who is at the base of this. I'm also worried if this Noor is as ordinary as you're saying, could it have been anybody? That's my worry, is that by focusing on this dude, we're ignoring the fact that it could be any of the laborers on site. Killing this guy is like killing a mouse in a house. There a dozen more in there. I think we need to figure out what's going out with the other stuff. So that's just me.
Yeah, maybe if we off Noor, maybe just another guy who's gonna show up in 2028. Maybe it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Maybe I will show up in 2028. I could be the Black Pharaoh. I don't know.
and you can probably tell that Ness is like trying to dial back from the let's blow and kill everybody up after last time. Like let's see if we can find the root of this and deal with that, because it seems to me that's the more effective way.
Why here? Why now? Why not? Those seem our 3 big questions. The sarcophagus, if it doesn't get open until 20, it's got to be important, right? But it's not.
But it doesn't even get opened in 2028, you say.
Yeah.
But there's writing on it. That's the thing. We've got to figure out who knew to go dig here, because this is not usual. This is not a place where they would have believed Memphis would have been. This is wild.
You managed to sort out the credentials, Quinn? Yep, got them right here. Just for me and me and Nessa, though, I couldn't quite sell you as an academic, I'm afraid.
That's
Well,
fine.
we could if Nessa can get in. She's like my old wife. You get her in there and poof, She just explodes the place and everything is sorted.
Yeah, you don't need to explode the
you're
place.
a good girl,
just...
Nessa.
I think it would be a bad idea to explode the sarcophagus if it stays shut by the future.
Will it? I don't know. No sarcophagus, no problem, right?
That's a rather quick way of opening it.
We
Do
need to
you want
find
to keep it-
information. What I'm going to say is we need to find information, and then maybe if I can get on site, like you said, not an explosion, not need to blow the place up, but maybe I can rig some stuff to start flash fires or smoke or things like that. That's the kind of easy FX trick that I can put into place so that if we need to shut it down for a day or clear out part of it, we can do that.
If you collapse the dig site.
Don't want to
delay
collapse the dig site because they'll just dig.
Yeah.
You know, but we need to figure out. We need information before we need explosions today.
I think McFee.
Yeah.
You say you got along well with Hassan.
Yeah, we're good pals. I mean, he's a good worker. You know, he works very hard. He really deserves his pay. So, and I'm like that too. So we get along quite well.
I think we should have him over.
Digging trench 20 today. Like we went down a good 2 meters deep. Bunch of crap down there. Good thing we were clearing the place.
We should have Hassan over for dinner. Sound him
I
out.
don't know. It's can we meet in a bar, something like that? That's a bit, workers. We don't invite each other for.
Oh
for
no,
dinner.
we'll meet in a bar, but we'll end up.
Again, I'd like to point out that the only bars that are going to be here are nightclubs in upscale parts of town. You might be able to buy a beer on the street or things, but you're not going to go to a bar. What you're going to go is downstairs. There's a shisha parlor, tea, all that. It goes in. It's big. You can mix in with the crowd there and do that.
We need to get him alone. We need to find out if he knows anything. We need to find out if there's anything about him. We get him somewhere. We work our way back here. McFee,
Yeah.
Do you think you and me can handle that while Quinn and Nessa check out the dig site?
So where do you want me to take him?
Wherever, as close to here as
bar
you,
sounds like a good idea. You know that you got back rooms and
Yeah.
stuff.
somewhere
Go
where we
down
can
to
take
the-
him
yeah,
here,
yeah.
and where we can work some way of an excuse to bring him somewhere secure. And I look around here, like
I think at this point, Nessa's cultural competence might kick in.
All I'm going to say is downstairs, hang out for a few hours, drink tea, and then we've got some bottles of vodka and gin that we got at the duty-free shop when we came in. We've got those tucked away. That's good grade liquor. It's really hard to get here. All the other stuff around here is knockoffs and government-produced beer. And we offer maybe some high, top shelf stuff if you want to hang out. That's the way that I would play that.
Hey, Rook, can you play cards? We could just hit the cardboard a bit, huh?
yeah, we can play cards. We can do anything.
Well, that's the thing.
Spent a lot of time playing cards in the desert before.
Well, that's perfect. I can invite Noor to play a game. Huh?
Yeah.
Let's just be clear. This safe house has nothing in it but bedrolls and a cooker.
Oh no! If we get to the safe house, it's a black bag operation.
No,
It's
it's
an excuse.
Okay. So just to be clear then, so tomorrow evening, McFee is going to try and inveigle Noor into a card game or a coffee or something, and we'll take it from there.
It's a card game at the back of a shisha bar downstairs. Quinn, maybe could you be the 4th player?
Well, hang on. No, we'll worry about that when we get there. That's for tomorrow evening after the working day. Yeah. So how do Nessa and Quinn, I assume Nessa and Quinn are going to spend tomorrow's working day at the site, or do you have other plans?
That
Nessa?
would be my plan.
Nessa?
Yeah, and I think I'm going to play full on sort of technician, grad student, asking lots of questions, trying to get the inside dope of how this all got set up.
Okay. I'm seeing McFee then spending another day working on the site. Rook, how will you use tomorrow before this ruse is going to be played on Hassan?
I am. I don't know really, because I think I'm just going to set up for. You know what? I will investigate the leaders of the dig, the site kind of thing, and see about any kind of details on that, basically.
Some of those questions that Nessa was phrasing earlier about, where did the permissions come from, all of that kind of stuff.
Suddenly something occurs to me. Wait, hang on. I just suddenly realized I missed something because I was like writing Nur off. You said that his parents died and he got sent to some school?
Yeah, well, he was learning English thanks to his parents, but once they died, he didn't have the money to afford to go to a good school. But he's got very good English, huh?
I'd like to.
Yeah, you should find out about that.
I'd like to investigate Noah El Hassan's parents, I think.
Okay, so let's start with Quinn, and I tell you what, we're just on time for a break actually. Shall we take our first break now and be back at 5 past the hour? I'll see you then. Due to a technical error, i.e. my own incompetence, I failed to restart the recording. So our central section of this session has been lost for all time.
It was so good. I've been on a lot of recording of actual plays, even live stream. That's the best one I've been part of.
I know, and is always the case that this is the enormous fish that got away. But just to summarize, the plan was to meet up with Nur al-Hassan for a card game. Due to a variety of methods, Rook and McFee have got Hassan into the safe house. Despite Hassan's initial concerns, between them, they have convinced him that it's best for him to stay with them. So far, there is nothing in anything he has said that suggests that he is sketchy in any way. I think it would be fair to use Rook's terms. Meanwhile, Nessa and Avery together have modified the ground radar equipment that Dr. McKeely was using at the dig site through the day to pick up alien occult energies and have found energy about 10 more feet down this tunnel. And despite Nessa's great concerns to the point where she contacted Rook, kind of, I think, wanting backup to say, let's go home. Rook did not deliver that. Quinn carried on digging, and just before the break that we didn't record, Quinn broke through. Nessa, there is a noise behind you, and the entire area is plunged into darkness. What do you do, Nessa? You are muted.
I think I'm going to unmute. I am going to essentially drop in place down like to a crouching position to like change my relative height in case somebody saw me before this. And I'm getting essentially into my hand glow sticks to break because they're not affected by, electric, and I'm waiting.
Okay, Quinn, you broke through terribly Howard Carter, and everything is plunged into darkness. And to be honest, you're in a pretty constrained space here because you've been trying to go that way without necessarily expanding it. So you're on your knees in front of a panel you've just broken through, a bit of rock you've broken through into a space. 10 feet behind you, outside this narrow tunnel, but in the tunnel that the crew had cleared, Nessa is located, and the entire tunnel has gone dark. What do you do, Quinn?
I I'm going to imagine that if I was... Can I say that I have a head torch? If I've been digging a small tunnel, has that gone out? Has my torch, whatever I'm using to light this tunnel that I'm digging, gone out?
The weird thing is it goes completely dark, and you kind of take the head torch off and tap it, and there's a tiny dim glow here.
I'm waving that dim glow around at arm's length, seeing if I can see anything kind of ahead of me.
Right. The really weird thing is that if you put it into that space, it goes on full. Let me go back to Nessa. Something is moving, or someone is moving in the space. Now, the bizarre thing is, Nessa, is when you turn around, you expect to see the slightly yellow glow of the streetlights that come, just cast some light down into this pit and the tunnel you're in. Nothing. What do you do?
So I am going to move up carefully to where I'm pretty sure Quinn is at, because something
That
really
will
terrible
require you
has
pretty much crawling.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna crawl that way. I have a terrible idea of something that would explain the Nur Hassan thing, and would be not great. So I will say, Gwen.
What, Nessa?
There's something moving in there. Not you.
Oh, no, let me, just in case you've misunderstood, Nessa.
Oh.
There is something moving behind you.
Oh, there's
not
something
ahead
moving out here. When you opened it, there's something out here.
What if there's something out there? Maybe we should go in here and get away from it.
That is the worst idea I have ever heard. If it's, find out what's in there. Do it quick.
So I think I
stay here.
And then a hand falls on Nessa's ankle and begins to pull her back out of this little tunnel. What do you do, Nessa?
I think that's the point at which I take whatever I have rigged up tool-wise, and I am going to break the hand, arm, whatever of this thing that has grabbed onto me.
Okay. So fight, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. The target for this is 4 because of the conditions.
Mm-hmm. I have set this up so that I can use my stunt. I prepared on that, so I am going to use my crafts for this. Let's see here, and yeah, let's see what happens. Let me get to this. Rolling 2 dice. So that is a 4 straight up. So I think that's the point at which I say Schenectady, and the voice thing on one of the rigged bits will go off.
Okay.
And I'll invoke one of those 2 free invokes for the +2 on that.
Fine. So that clearly distracts whoever is or whatever has got a grip on your ankle, and you do 2 points of you apply 2 points of stress to them. I've made that note, and you are released. Yeah, still dark though.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to engage with this.
So I see you now turned round in this kind of low space, crouched. Yeah. Are you staying put, or are you moving towards the more open space?
I gotta stay between whoever this is and the tunnel entrance, so Quinn has some time.
Okay. Rook, what do you do when the flashbang comes through the window?
what do? I kick over the one table that we've got in there and fire 3 tight shots straight through the window.
Okay. McFee, what about you? What do you do?
I put a son behind me. Watch out, son. Things gonna get ugly over here. And I'll try to help Rook to secure the different exits.
Okay, so this is the window. The door is behind you. So that sounds like you're worrying about the door more than the window, if Rook's firing at the window.
Whoever comes through the door, McFee will get, as they get into the room and close, he'll deal with them, whereas I'll be shooting out whoever's throwing flashbangs or whatever at the window.
Okay,
Could I suggest, actually, McFee might say something like, Rook, you're trained, take the kid through the window, I will hold them out at the door.
Well, before we get into the detail of what happens next, let's just deal with the flashbangs. Yeah?
Oh, well, I think with the flash, it occurred to me, as a flashbang drops in, Rook grabs a blanket off the thing and throws it on top of the flashbang.
Okay, let's see if your athletics is up to that.
Yes. That's a +3.
Difficulty, I think, because this is entirely surprising.
Mhm.
Oh, no, you could invoke your watchers if you wanted to show that you were expecting trouble. So the difficulty is 3, I think.
Well, I rolled a 6 on the dice, and I have a 3 in athletics.
A 6 on the dice?
6 and a 3, sorry.
Okay, so +3, yeah?
Yeah.
+3, 6. Then yeah, you do that, and there's a kind of the blanket begins to kind of singe, and there's a kind of muffled. So you've dealt with that one.
Would that give us a boost or something?
No,
No. Okay.
I think that's a simple overcome at this point.
Sure.
It means that I won't make you roll for the effect of the flashbang. Yeah. And McFee, then you're saying what to Rook? Take the kid out the window. The window is where the flashbang has come from.
Oh, the window, the flashbang comes from the window.
I think we have to leave here. It sounds like we're going to have to go through whoever's coming out, unless there's another way. I suppose that might be is that a burglary or something?
Well, you've got 2 ways out here: the window or the door.
I mean, Rook's thing is, no, you go get him out. I'm the one packed for holding off anybody, kind of thing. Unless you position yourself for a heroic sacrifice, which I don't want to step all over,
only in session 2, surely not.
No, not as bad as that, but I got the aspect last man standing, so could have been nice if I was alone in the room. I don't know, it seems fitting.
Oh yeah, you know what?
You could be alone in the corridor.
You say if you want, you hold them off. I will kick open the door and I will start clearing with Hassan, telling Hassan to keep close to me. And you're going to be holding back whoever comes through. You're going to hold them. Do you want to do that? Like what you asked for?
But people coming from, so I would hold them.
Wherever the flashback came
from. I leave you at the door, and I'm gonna jump through the window with Hassan.
Okay, right.
Because there's more options. It's an open space.
Yeah. But the fiction says you're on the 3rd floor.
Yeah, but
there's a balcony out there. Okay, so you're going to leap out onto the balcony.
Yeah. Well, or the those balcony covers in fabric,
okay,
and style, piercing through a couple of them, and hopefully being held by the last one, or at least slow down so we just don't kill ourselves, but just.
Okay, I think this is athletics, McFee, with you and Hassan, him kind of no as you leap out the window, and let's see. I think the difficulty for this got to be 6.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's go. Let's do it. So 6.
Stress is there to be used.
Oh, those twice work.
Well, it don't worry about it. I'll tell you in a bit.
Okay.
So that's 0 on the dice.
0.
Athletics is 2.
Yeah.
You take 4 stress. So mark 4 of your physical stress boxes.
All of my physical stress boxes.
Down there below stunts.
So I'm full. Did I recover stress from last?
Yeah, sorry, you shouldn't. I don't think you should have any stress. So
Okay,
that's fine. Yeah. And you land in a heap in the street below, having crashed, as you say, through a series of balcony awnings. Rook, what about you?
I'm covering fire. Anybody who comes in, I'm going to murder them.
Okay. That is when charges go off on the door behind you. And in come a group of, and somebody rolls a kind of tear gas grenade in. So what's your reaction?
I open fire with the assault rifle that I have here.
Okay. Brut, brut, brut.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to roll shoot
Yes.
against a difficulty of 2, I think, given the circumstances?
Cool. That is a 3 on the light and a 5 on the dark, and I have a +4 in shoot. So
it's -2 is higher on the dice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus shoot at
4
gets to +2.
Yeah.
Against 2 is a tie. Now, what that means is that you don't actually do any harm on these things.
Well, I would like to invoke an aspect then.
Oh, go ahead.
I think I would like to invoke. I think Nyarlathotep is confident. If I can keep on ticking. If there's no,
Yeah. No. Go for it. Go for it.
These guys are overconfident.
It's a way to convert your fate points into resistant successes, if put it that way. So reduce your fate point by 1, and that gets to +2, and you see 2 figures fall into the room, clearly taken out. Back in the tunnel, Quinn, you've broken through. Your light comes back on, and it's weird. You turn round, and it has no penetration into the space outside. But you are looking at a sarcophagus. What do you do, Quinn?
I glance over the sarcophagus with a kind of professionally appraising eye. Do I want to invest? I'd say I guess create an advantage here, because I want to kind of know what it's about, kind of find out what I can find out about it.
Okay, then I think that's probably investigate.
Okay.
Yeah, so unless you want to apply law to it.
It doesn't really matter because they're both at +3, so I'll go with investigate.
So investigate, difficulty, I think, given the circumstances, difficulty is 4.
Mm-hmm. So that's I rolled a 4 plus a 3 to investigate. I think that makes it a success with style.
That does indeed make a success with style. So you have created an advantage, which is understand the sarcophagus with 2 free invokes. Nessa, I think it's fair to say that there are people or things coming into this passageway at you. What are you going to do?
Then I think I'm going to fight them off. Like I've got, some rigged up, essentially pressure things to fire off, like a nail gun, and I've got my other stuff, and essentially I'm making it dramatically untenable for them to push forward in this area. They have to pay the cost to get near me is what I'm trying to do.
Fine. Because you are firing blind in effect, the difficulty is 4.
How about I'm not trying to inflict damage. I'm trying to like effectively either create an advantage or like hold them in place, like so they can't push forward. I'm more interested in stopping them than I am inflicting damage.
So yeah. So this is create an advantage. Hostile space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Go for it. I think that's much simpler. I think that's a difficulty of 3.
Okay. This is where the dice finally betray me. So that's a 1 right now. You said difficulty was a 3?
Yeah. No, difficulty's 2 because you're just firing blind. You're just...
Yeah, so I'm gonna hit the other rigged dig site. It's essentially swapping an advantage for an advantage, but I'm turning what it's doing.
Fine.
To give myself, essentially that I'm controlling that space, making it not worth them pushing through here.
So I think that's 3 versus a difficulty of 2, so that is success. And
Yeah.
you don't want to invoke anything to turn that into success with style?
It would give me two things here. I don't think they expected. They saw a couple of academics down in here. I don't think they expected this, so I think this is the Nyarlathotep is confident, and I will spend another fate point to invoke that.
Fine. Oh, we're rocking the resistant successes, guys.
Yeah. So that's with style then finally. Okay.
That is with style. So you have 2 free invokes on hostile space, which in effect is going to buy you 2 exchanges easily without them coming for you. So Avery, what are you going to do with these 2 exchanges, these 2 actions?
Given that I now understand the sarcophagus, I feel like what I'm aiming for is some insight into what it wants and how to avert that. And I don't know how I achieve that mechanically.
Okay.
Interesting.
I think that is probably law again. And I think that is opening yourself to alien energies. So I am offering to compel exposed to alien energies and give you a fate point. And myself, an old one success. Because that's what it takes here, I think. And then I'd allow you to roll with law and use the advantages you have.
Okay.
Yeah?
Let's go for that.
You've just stared into the abyss. Okay. Then roll with law, I think, against a difficulty of 2.
That's a 1 plus my 3 law, so that's a 4 against a 2.
That's success. Do you want to turn it into success with style by spending one of the advantages you bought with one of the by understanding the sarcophagus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go for success with style. This seems like a fairly kind of critical moment.
Okay. There is an inscription that you have found on here, perhaps guided by those alien energies, and this is, how can I put this? Sealed against the dark. Yeah. Now, it would be too simple for me to say, and therefore it wants. But that's what that will get you. Yeah. And I will give you a second freebie, which is this is a pharaoh's name that you do not recognize.
Oh.
This is an unknown pharaoh. And given the nature of the tomb, this is not a grand tomb.
Mhm.
Let's cut back to the street below the safe house, McFee. So you land, maybe you're just kind of, slightly discombobulated by the fall. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna grab Hassan by the collar and we're gonna start running. Say we need to go to the dig site. I got 2 friends there. Maybe they can help us. I'm sure Rook will find us there. And as we start running, I don't know if it's the appropriate way to invoke an aspect. I would like things like individuals like beggars starts to pull up their sleeves and show and point at they each have a tattoo of a star, and they start running after us. So we're gonna just have a marathon towards the digging site with Aston while
That's fine. I tell you what, I'll do you a favor. I'll spend a fate point to invoke this Church of Starry Wisdom is powerful and growing, to create a mob of beggars that you now have to evade. Yeah?
Great.
And that's athletics.
Is it? It's physique, it's more a marathon than a sprint.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I see where you're going. So you're running the long way round to get to the dig site. Okay, physique, go for it. I think the difficulty is 4. Because it's less about you and more about Hassan. Yeah, exactly.
It's 4 because I got 4 in physique. I rolled 6 and 6.
So on a tie, you can succeed at a minor cost, which is that the minor cost is that they are going to follow you to the dig site. But you're going to have a little bit of time.
Of course, they're going to follow us there.
Okay, Rook, you took down the 2 people who came through the door. What do you do now?
If I've made like a break, like a gap, I book it, and I wouldn't actually, I think rather than jump out the balcony, I'm actually going down through the front, like even if that means taking on 1 more person,
Okay. And
I'm going to steal a car.
Oh, I don't want to get in the way of that. There is a car.
Yeah, cool.
It probably belongs to one of the people who's still in the bar.
Oh, I mean, if ideally I would like to have a one with someone in it, or like stood by it, just getting out, and I just pull the gun and I'm just like, now.
Are you looking for them to drive you somewhere?
No, I'm taking, I'm not braking, I'm not hot wiring a car, I'm just taking a car. Like, yeah.
Could it be a motorbike?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely
be a motorbike.
Because the narrow lanes hereabouts would be good for a motorbike. Okay, so
I suggest something, Rook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have a little flashback with your future self telling you, take the Yamaha.
Yes, yeah, I love it.
So yes. You are on a motorbike, and where are you heading, Rook?
I think to the dig site.
Okay.
Yeah.
Given what McFee has told us about him taking a long way round to try and exhaust his pursuers, I think you're going to get there first. And of course, he's also dragged the mob of beggars away from your route. So, Quinn, I think I know where you are. Nessa, I think that Quinn has about used all the time you've bought them. You will need
anytime, Quinns, anytime.
Quinn?
I'm kind of, you can see the wheels turning in my head because the darkness is out there, the sarcophagus is in here, the sarcophagus seems to be holding back the darkness. And so I'm thinking, is this the opposite to the way we're thinking of? And this sarcophagus was never opened. I know that. I'm I'm saying to Nessa, quick, an experiment. Get in here.
Nessa.
I'm going to invoke my relationship aspect against myself and not go in.
Fine. The compel earns you a fate point. Yeah, no way.
An experiment. Come in here. No. I'm like, you need to get out here. I can't hold them much longer.
And that is the point, I think, where the nail gun runs out of nails.
So, this is the...
While you're thinking about it, let me cut
to
Rook. Rook, describe what we see on your motorbike.
I think it's coming up. I think it's like a long shot, like down a very atmospheric kind of just of the motorbike slowly coming up, pulling up, and Rook getting off, and then just like the barrel of the gun like coming off the bike as into the camera shot. And I am securing this area. I am going to, if I can hear anything down in the pit, I'll be looking out here basically.
The courtyard, when so up you come, there are people in the courtyard.
Hostile, threatening looking people?
I'll tell you in a bit. McFee, you are staying ahead, but they are you will get shortly to the dig site, but you haven't lost them. Yeah. Someone looks out of the gate. He's a local. What do you do, Rook? Because this motorbike's pulled up outside.
I point the gun at him and I push him back into the through the gate.
And then 3 of them jump on you.
Okay.
So let's have. I think this is gun fu.
Sure, I'm up for that. Yeah.
So a combination of fight and shoot. What's your preference?
Yes, shoot is definitely the preference, and I think I was definitely primed to kill whoever blinked the wrong way.
Yeah. So go for that then. Fight. Difficulty is only. Oh no, difficulty is 3 actually. Yeah.
3. Okay. So that's a tie on the dice. A 4 on shoot. 4 versus 3. That's a +1.
Okay. You take one of them down. The others are now on you. So this will be fight now.
Okay.
Yeah. Quinn, you will hear gunshots outside, Nessa and Quinn. Quinn, what are you going to do?
Well, I'm trusting my gut here. My attempts to kind of confirm this before I do anything of God have like been frustrated by Nessa. So I think I walk over to the sarcophagus and try and open it.
Nessa, there is no sign of Quinn coming out of that tomb. There are gunshots outside.
Then I'm going to take advantage of that and launch forward the people who are up ahead causing problems in this tunnel. I'm going to go try and hit them and start knocking them off balance. If there's gunshots up top, we'll see what I can do here.
Okay. And almost as though dramatically it was important and necessary, that is the point when the darkness spell ends. And you launch yourself into this space where you will surprise 2 or 3 Starry Wisdom acolytes.
Then I am going to brain them.
That is fight. I will give you surprised, a free invoke on surprised.
Okay.
Because they kind of given up on you when the gunshot started going off.
So let's see here. Party. We're all selected. So that's straight up. Am I able to use my craft in this?
Yeah.
Okay. then I'll invoke, and that'll give me the surprise, and that'll give me a 6.
Ho, ho, ho. Against a difficulty of 2, you take all 4 of them out.
Just swinging through them, and Quinn's, we got a path. We got a pathway.
Okay.
Please.
McFee, you will hear the gunshots as you come round the corner towards the dig site, where a cooling motorcycle is outside. What do you do, McFee? Hassan is still with you and saying, "What's going on? What's going on?"
So there's no minions anymore.
Oh, they're behind you, but you've got
behind
some
me.
time.
Behind me, I get it, but in front of me.
No.
No. Okay.
Not between you and the courtyard where the dig site is.
I think we throw ourselves in the courtyard. We even jump to the side of the digging, the actual digging. So we're scrambling down the side of it. I wave at Rook to follow. I point towards the mob, which is. This wall was much closer. The mob running towards us. So it's kind of a moment with Indiana Jones when he turns into Temple of Doom and he sees the water rushing towards him.
Hassan resists going into the courtyard. What do you do?
I'm gonna say, what you doing, mate? They're gonna get us.
The motorbike.
If Rook sees you, he'll go,
No, not yet.
Get the hell out of there.
Not yet.
I nod my head and I don't know. It's just I really wanted to get us all together again.
I think he wants to get on the motorbike.
Yeah.
You want to restrain him, just or threaten him or convince him?
No.
He's just scared shitless.
Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get on the motorbike, have him on my back, and I say we cannot make the way around it. We need to go through, and I'm gonna ride the motorbike and try to ride it through the digging site. I know a shortcut.
Okay, and there's this plank leaning against the wall. Okay, so yeah, he says, "Oh, good, get on the motorbike," and then is horrified as you spin it into the courtyard.
Yeah, hold on tight, kid.
Flying past Rook into a group of Starry Wisdom acolytes. I think this is a drive. What is that skill for?
It's 2 for me.
I think the difficulty of this is 4 because this is not easy.
Okay.
With a reluctant passenger.
All right. Okay, let's go. Let's do this.
Oh,
so
0.
0.
So you are too short of a tie.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we're gonna fall on the side of the digging site inside it.
Fail, and the GM says how things get more complicated, or succeed at a major cost.
All right.
The major cost is that Hassan falls off the back.
Where would he fall?
Into the courtyard as you sail clear of it.
I would sail clear. And the other choices you said?
Or you can fail, and I'll just make things more complicated.
Okay, and I take 2 stress, or
yeah, I think you probably will in the fall.
Well, I would be full stress, so.
But that's fine.
That's fine. Okay.
You've got consequences to play with.
Okay, cool. I do that. I take the stress.
So the bike kind of spins. There's a tumble. Yeah. Rook. Someone is approaching you. Chanting. What do you do?
I shoot them in the face with my pistol.
Okay. Let's see you shoot then. That you are likely to take some physical stress from the others that were having a go at you.
Oh, okay. This is
He's behind them.
he's behind them. Yeah, you know what? I think that agent of the anti-mythos agent compels me to focus on the threat. You know, shoot the wizard first, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take 2 physical stress
Yeah.
for the blows they throw at you, but take a fate point for the self-compel.
Okay.
And shoot at them. Difficulty is 2 because they are preoccupied with a scroll.
So that's a 4 on the like positive, a net positive on the dice. So would that
Yes.
be a plus 4?
4 plus
Okay.
shoot
Plus 4. So it's 8.
versus a difficulty of 2, success by 6. You can do 6 harm to them. Yeah?
Yeah.
Which you will be pleased to know is enough to drop them.
Nice. I think it goes straight through them like the jaw as he's chanting something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he falls to the ground, dropping the scroll as he does so. Avery Quinn, you are still in there. This is physique. If you want to try and lever the top off this.
Yes.
Difficulty. I did notice somebody was asking how heavy is a sarcophagus on the Slack recently. I think this is on your own is like 6.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, as the player, I'm not entirely displeased that I might fail this one. Let's see what I get in a roll anyway. That is a -1 on the dice. My physique is 0, so that's a -1.
Okay. You take 7 physical stress trying and failing.
I think I need, if I do some invokes, can I get my physical stress down?
What have you got in mind?
Let's think. Can I invoke both?
The adrenaline rush of insatiably curious.
Well, I was thinking more the professor of occult sciences in that
Nah.
Okay. The adrenaline rush of insatiably curious. And I don't know whether this works, but because I don't know what the faceless mother is, but if the faceless mother is waiting hungrily and that has anything to do with this, maybe there's something inside there that wants to get out.
I'm struggling to see that as a valid compel. So, but that has reduced the physical stress damage to 5.
So
the way that
remind
works,
me how consequences work.
Okay. So consequences are longer lasting than stress, and I get a free invoke on them. So what this means is you will mark all your physical stress boxes, and you will write down in the mild box something like strained. Yeah. And I'll get a free invoke on that. Nessa, a motorbike has skidded past the top of the pit. Oh, you are muted.
I turn, and now that I'm going back now, I have light in here. I'm coming. I'm saying, Quinn's, the whatever they were using to put this darkness on is gone. Come on.
Quinn?
I think it was some kind of generator or something.
I think at this point I turn, kind of holding my arm, and run and crawl out of this chamber.
So we have Quinn and Nessa out of the chamber, clambering out of the digging pit. McFee, there are half a dozen of these beggars who have just burst into the courtyard. What do you do? Should I say Starry Wisdom acolytes? Would that make life simpler?
Yeah. Yes, I think that's a good start. That's a good start. I think half a dozen, you said.
Yes. Bottom line, do you stay or do you run?
I mean, I'd be for rolling, tumbling down the digging towards Nessa and Quinn, which I don't know are over there, but
They are clambering out of the pit as I speak.
Actually, I'm not clambering out, but if I see you, I'd say, "Come and help me."
Okay. So yeah, I'm running away from the dozen of people.
Okay, to Nessa, to help Nessa. Do what, Nessa?
I say, this is on a building. There's some bracers under here. Come on, we get the sledgehammers. We can knock a support pillar. We can bring down a section of this. There'll be bodies here. No one's going to excavate this. This is going to tie this up for a while, and maybe we'll bring it down. We can trap some of those guys in some rubble. Come and help me.
I know that Hassan let's do this.
Yeah, we'll grab hammers and we're gonna smash at support posts here.
Okay. So I imagine Rook holding off the beggars. Yeah, I'm not going to make you roll for that, I think. This all comes down to a craft, I think.
What I actually want to create advantage for the physique of my sledgehammer swinging pal. Does that sound okay?
Okay, that does. So
Question.
Create advantage with craft to know what to hit. Sorry.
Can I help Nessa with I don't know if it would be an investigate. I wrote a stunt. I don't know if you had a look at if it was appropriate, but if the stunt is appropriate and I can activate it in these circumstances, it was because in doubt, I give it a kick, get +2 to investigate when surrounded by meters technology I have no clue about. So
I'm prepared to go with that.
So the idea is that I take the mace. I'm like, yeah, sure, right. I hit something
so you
randomly,
investigate
something
to create the advantage, and then I'll do the craft to bring it down.
Yeah,
I'm cool. Let's have you start then.
As Quinn crawls out of the.
Keep moving, Quinn.
Okay, difficulty I think is 3 for McFee.
Okay, so that's a +2 to investigate, and my investigate is at +2, so that's +4. My dice rolling up. Okay. So that's
down to 3, I think.
3. Yeah.
So 3 against a difficulty of. Did I say 3? So it's a tie. So I think that's a boost rather than an advantage, Nessa, for you to play with.
So but it says a fleeting advantage. Is that a
fleeting
+1
advantage?
Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's still +2, but it's a 1 use and gone. So
then
in this circumstance, doesn't matter.
Then I'm going to use my craft.
Go for it. Difficulty, I think, is probably 4, because you are looking to bring down one side of a small block of flats.
Let's invoke. I don't think once again, I think the Starry Wisdom, we're facing them. So I think this is a challenge to this. So I'm going to invoke them to make that difficulty 6. I've got the free temporary invoke. I'm going to use my craft. So let's roll. And then we'll spend one of our fate points with our engineer to re-roll that.
Okay.
I can use a relationship for you also. Eventually.
I think we're okay. So that's +1 instead.
No, it's a so it's a +1. I invoke what he gave me.
That's +3.
+3. And I have 2 more fate points left.
You've got your +4 for craft, remember?
Oh, and that's with the craft. It would have gotten it to that.
No, I'm seeing 1 on the dice. 4 for craft is 5. Invoke is 2
no,
more.
it's a -3 on the dice for me.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I'm looking at a
That's
different
okay.
set of dice.
Yeah. So I'm going to spend my last 2 fate points to invoke the essentially the relationship that I want this collapsed because I don't want Quinn's to get anywhere near this.
Okay.
And the years of working in the back of the house of knowing how to bring down things, which will take me to a 7 against a 6 with and if McFee wants to invoke, we can take it to success with style.
Did you throw in the Starry Wisdom there? I can't remember.
Yeah, because that's why it's difficulty 6.
Okay. And have you
Yeah.
marked the resistance success for that?
I have not yet. Because,
I'll do that. You worry about McFee.
Okay.
McFee?
Are you going to help me? If you invoke, we can
Yeah.
take it to success with
So
style.
I
We'll
want
do
to
it.
invoke using 1 fate point my relationship to Nessa, which is Nessa's talent with DIY reminds me of my old wife. So when I look at her, I got flashbacks of my old sturdy wife who liked to bang on things on my fisherman boat.
And that is success with style. That will allow you the opportunity to get out before it comes down. And so I think you are racing away from the dig site as the side of this small block of flats slides into the courtyard. And I think, given what the clock says, that's probably the end of this event. Is that fair?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm looking across your character sheets and I'm seeing 6, 7 resistance successes against a mere 2 old one successes. So if we go to the timeline track.
Did you count the one with the beggars who chased us?
I thought I did. Did you mark it? I didn't mark it.
I didn't mark it either.
Okay, there you go. So that's 8 resistance successes. So that is 2 ripples in time. I'll go straight to that, but I will mark the 2 great old one successes for next time. So this is 2 pluses to apply to the timeline. Where would you like to put this? I'm going to ask Nessa, because I think Nessa stacked up 3 resistance successes through the session. So what are you looking to alter in the timeline with this?
So what are the things I can change here?
Okay, well, I think what we decided at the start was that probably it's the Rise of the Great Old One event, the final event, that you want to try to put more in your favor. So currently you have minus dice on person, place, and thing. So you could spend 1 of the successes to turn 1 of place.
Yeah, I think because we're moving Egypt as a nexus point, so that's mine.
Fine. So that -1, that minus on dice becomes a 0. Who else? Let's see. I think that it was Rook who also got the most successes. So I'm going to ask Rook where you want to put the second ripple in time.
Where did Lowell put it? Sorry, on
Place.
Place. Cool. I would like to put it on Noor Al Hassan.
Okay, so that's a 0 for Noor. So currently, the Rise of the Great Old One has gone from 4 minuses to a single minus. Wow. Now then, let me ask, let me think who, yes, I think the other person who put most of the ripples in time in place was McFee. McFee, how do you think the timeline aspect for this event has changed? It was Nyarlathotep is confident.
I think how would I put that? Something like Nyarlathotep has got us on their radar or something like that.
Okay, what about Nyarlathotep is concerned about us? Yeah?
Yeah.
Fine. So let me put
Nyarlathotep has some beef with us.
Yeah.
Concerned about us. Okay. I can't spell concerned, but get the idea.
Fair enough.
Okay. And I think in terms of the changes to the catalyst, Noor Al Hassan, a man of no particular importance, I would like to suggest that he remains of no importance. And that in 2028, it is not Nur al-Hassan who declares himself as Nyarlathotep, because I think you got him out from under the observation of the Starry Wisdom. Because as I think you begun to gather, he's just a bloke. And I think that also the strange tomb crawling with archaeologists, I think the thing remains the same. The foe remained that Starry Wisdom spellcaster. Avery Quinn. There's this scroll as you're racing out of the. I won't even waste your time with compelling. You now have a scroll. Make a note on the character sheet somewhere that you possess a scroll, and we'll worry about that next time because I'm conscious of the time. So I will tinker with the catalysts around raising of the king, but I think we know where the general gist of this leaves us. Okay. I'd like you will get end of session milestone. You also have another end of event milestone to play with. I don't think we've got time for stars and wishes, though I thought that was great fun. And I thought we began to see some relationships develop. So I hope that began to hit the spot for Bodhi and Callum, who wanted that as a wish. But I think we do need to just spend a moment, once I stop the recording, talking about what we do in the next session, because we said we'd give it 2 sessions. Yeah. So I'm going to stop the recording now, wave bye-bye to the internet.